Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're gonna be playing with some lilies. We're gonna be potting some lily bulbs to be more exact, and I do want to document a little bit the journey that I have with these plants because sadly for me these are not the best suited plants for my climate. It's very hot in the summer. We do have mild winters here in Cyprus where I live, but yeah, it's not the ideal, let's say, climate for lilies, almost of any type. And even sadder for me is that lilies are one of my favorite flowers, to be honest. Roses, lilies, maybe a few others. They're very nostalgic for me. Where I grew up in Romania, I'm Romanian by the way, yeah, I had a garden with some lilies. It was the white type of lilies, not sure which types they are, but they were very fragrant, very beautiful. Every spring and summer I would just have them in the garden in bloom. Well, my grandma would have them. They're so nostalgic. I absolutely love them. And honestly, I'm just in love with a lot of plants that simply don't do well in this climate. And yeah, that kind of sucks. I'm up for discovering, let's say, tropical plants as well. But you know what? I want to play a little with these lilies as well. Even if they're annuals, even if like I have to plant them every year, that's okay. I want to have some lilies in my life. Why not? And if by chance some of them actually do well through some sort of miracle, I'm not gonna dig them up and throw them, right? I'm gonna leave them in their pots and see how they do, see what happens, right? So I have an assortment here of Asiatic lilies and some Oriental lilies. As you will see, I have more than this. I have some other types of lilies, and I know there will be more as the season progresses. There will be more types of lily bulbs available at the flower shop and garden centers and so on, but these are the first ones. So as I pot them, let's just talk a little bit about lilies and have a nice chill gardening day. Alrighty, so I will pot these lilies in these terracotta pots, which I've had for many years. Some of you who are older on my channel might remember I tried to grow some vandas and some orchids in these pots, and I quickly discovered that they dry out so fast in my climate that it's just not worth it. But in a garden setting, it's gonna be a little bit easier for me to water them like with the hose really fast. I don't need to care too much about splashing around and all of that. I'm very happy in the end that I kept them. The soil that I'm gonna be using is just an all-purpose potting soil that I find locally. Lilies, as far as I understand, don't really care much about the soil pH and all of those things. It just absolutely needs to be hydrating and not suffocating. So this is the hardware. And let's talk a little bit about the lilies. These are Asiatic lilies, as I was saying. I don't really have variety names. Some of them you will see have, probably they are trademarked. These, I'm not entirely sure. What I have here is a Asiatic lily, and the color is red. Pretty much that's all the information we're given. And we should pot them about 12 centimeters under the soil. Now I am going to pot 3 of them. Each bulb can produce 1, 2, maybe 3 shoots. You will see some of these lilies actually have 2 shoots, which is great. But if I were to pot only 1 lily in this pot, it will look a little bizarre, it will look a little empty. So I got 3 bulbs each. Alright, so let me just tell you, I am absolutely not the expert on lilies, but they're just so nostalgic for me that I just, you know, I want to get to know them, even if they're not necessarily suited for the area that I'm in. And the reason why they're not is 1, the very hot summer, and 2, the fact that maybe winter isn't cold enough for them, at least here inland where I am. I'm not entirely sure for which of these lilies this applies, because as I understand, Oriental lilies don't really like very low temperatures. Well, these guys, the Asiatic ones, they can handle very low temperatures, freezing and so on. It doesn't freeze here, but in winter it can actually get quite cool. And I'm hoping that these pots, which will be in the landscape, they will be wet when it rains. I'm hoping even in winter they will stay a little cooler. So if these guys need some stratification of sorts, maybe the clay pots will do it. You know, wishful thinking. Most likely they will not do well, but I really want to try. And of course, those of you who have experience and know more, do let me know in a comment. What do you think? Do you think I can pull it off somehow? And actually, I will keep a picture of each of these just for reference to see what ends up sprouting, if anything sprouts. So yeah, I'm going to place these bulbs. As you can see, they already have shoots. I'm gonna place them obviously with the shoot upwards and the roots downwards, and they will straighten, I'm sure, as they grow. I don't necessarily have too much distance between them. 20 centimeters. This is more like 15 centimeters between them, but it's okay. I think I'm just gonna have them for one season, if I'm being realistic, so I don't know. We'll see. Listen, if they end up doing well, I might even go ahead and try to plant them in the landscape, like in the garden, right? But I have serious doubts. I don't wanna, you know, be disappointed, so I'm preparing for disappointment. And then I'm just going to add more soil on top of them. So yeah, as I was saying though, I just really enjoy lilies, and they're just so nostalgic for me. I really enjoy fragrant lilies. The Asiatic lilies are actually not fragrant, but they come in such a wide variety of colors that it's absolutely worth having. And I do see a lot of people on YouTube having these lilies in the garden. If you are living in a cooler area, in a cooler zone than me, I think you can actually have them come back every year. And they're just splendid in the garden. I'm making a mess. They're just splendid in the garden. One of the flowers or the plants that I'm a little gutted that doesn't really do it here is the tulip. I grew up with a lot of tulips. My grandma had them in the garden, and I've always dreamed that in my garden I'm gonna have millions of tulips. That's never gonna happen here. And that's a little, it's not, okay, in the grand scheme of life, it's not that sad. But, you know, I wish I could have. I wish I could have grown tulips. Right, so this should be about enough. I also have some tags here. I'm gonna write some tags. I got a fancy pencil. I love pencils, but I never write, so this is the greatest reason. So I'm gonna put a tag in all of these just to remember what I put here and see what happens. Sometimes bulbs get mixed up and the colors are just off, but I'm hoping they will look like this. I don't know, we'll see. There we go. Asiatic red. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this for all of these lilies. We're gonna see how many we film. Probably I'm not gonna film all of them, but yeah, I do have some other things to talk about, so we'll see. So first lily done, let's get to the next one. Right, the next lily we're gonna plant is another Asiatic lily, but the picture looks a little clickbaity, quote unquote. Do we think this is a scam? I've never seen black lilies, not even as cut flowers. I'm pretty sure it's a very dark purple. Maybe the picture is a little enhanced, but even so, I have doubts, but hey, we're gonna try it. So next up, the black lily. Right, now in my climate, there seem to be some lilies that are suited, and I'm not talking about daylilies and canna lilies and stuff, which are not actual lilies. They're just called like that. We're gonna get to that. But I do see, during spring and summer, I do see in people's gardens some tall white lilies. I don't know which types they are. I'm gonna have to be a little more attentive in the flower shop now when I go. But yeah, there seem to be actually some lilies that can grow here, which gives me hope, gives me joy. Hopefully they are the fragrant types, but I don't know. I never actually went into people's gardens to smell them, so I don't know what they are, but I've seen them. So something does grow here. What that something is, I'm not entirely sure. Now, I did see multiple types. There are those, should I say trumpet lilies? They look a little bit like trumpet lilies, but I'm not entirely sure. They have beautiful white flowers they have that shape. So I'm thinking maybe it's trumpet lilies. Maybe I'm wrong. There are also some that maybe are not true lilies, but kind of look like it. They're white again, but they seem to have more of a bushier aspect to them. So maybe it's a sort of daylily, but it doesn't really look like a daylily. I don't know what they are. Those, you know, I have doubts that they're real lilies, but I did also see actual lilies, white lilies that look a little bit like the lilies I used to have when I grew up. I'm sure they're not the same. Or if they are, some people found a way to maintain them. Well, the ones that I saw, I think they were potted. Some of them were in the soil for sure. But the ones that kind of looked like the lilies like I grew up with, I think they were potted because they were kind of high that I could see them from the street, from the car, you know? So I'm thinking they were potted, they were not in the landscape, in the garden. And also I saw them throughout the summer, so it's not like these bulbs that, yeah, they appear in supermarkets, people buy them, it's a once-off and goodbye, you know. It's also autumn here now, so theoretically you should plant bulbs in the spring, right? Well, our winter is kind of like a spring, so imagine it being reversed. Summertime is when everything dies here, and autumn, winter, spring is when everything is flourishing. So yeah, I saw them in the springtime and, you know, the first part of summer, because in the second part of summer it's just an oven. Nothing is okay. Well, not really nothing. I'm exaggerating. Obviously plumerias and stuff are okay. So I'm intrigued. I will see when garden centers actually start to bring stuff. Right now it's very tame. You know, there aren't a lot of stuff at the flower shop just yet because it's still hot, but towards the end of this week we should finally have temperatures under 30 degrees Celsius, and that's so good. I cannot wait. Right, so this was the black one. Right, so let's pot an Oriental one now, and this is the only one that has a known name. This is Stargazer, and I think it's the most common Oriental lily that you can grow, and it is gorgeous. It's growing through its bag. When I saw it, oh no, you know, I just wanted to save it. They're starting to grow already. So this one actually should be a little shorter. Where is it? Okay, you can see here it's 75 centimeters. So this is a slightly tinier pot, like 1 centimeter tinier than the previous ones. Again, I wish I had bigger pots, but I just don't, and I just didn't want to spend money because I already spent money on these guys. Oh gosh, we might have to move soon because the sun is coming. I did not think this through. You can see, maybe the sun, you don't see it. Yeah, the sun is coming. So let's pot these guys really quickly, and then I think we're gonna have to move the business somewhere else. Right now, Oriental lilies are a little bit different from what I understand. They don't necessarily like very low temperatures. I'm not sure if they enjoy freezing all that much. I would suspect not, based on what I read, but I honestly really don't know. I don't know which one would be more suited to my climate, because even though they don't like freezing and it doesn't freeze here, they also don't really like very hot summers. So yeah, I don't know how to, oh no, let's not damage him. I don't know how to please you, but I'm gonna give it a good go. Why not? It will be definitely a learning experience, if, you know, not a successful experience. Oh my goodness. These guys are already, they're ready, pretty much. So Oriental lilies are actually the very nicely fragrant ones that you find as cut flowers. And yeah, you just have to, like, if you can grow lilies, goodness, why wouldn't you grow these guys? They are absolutely fantastic. So let's cover them to some extent. These guys will poke out, but it's okay. So let me just finish this pot and move pretty quickly, and then we're going to talk about these so-called lilies that I do know will do good in my hot climate. Some of them you guys recommended as well, and I do know them. I recognize them from the flower shops now, and they're just not available just yet. Probably later in the winter or in the spring they might become available. But you know what? Those are not, they're not what I'm looking for. They're beautiful, and I'm looking forward to maybe falling in love with them. But they're not what I grew up with, for sure. They're much more tropical in nature. So they're not gonna scratch the itch that I have, pretty much. But I will definitely give them a go and create new memories. Right, so let's just put a little tag on this guy as well. Okay, and let us move in a shadier location. Alrighty, much better. So this is the smallest pot that I have. I think it's an 18 centimeter pot, pretty tiny, but I only have one bulb of this guy. This is Lilium candidum, or Madonna lily. They say it grows up to 70 centimeters. Now, this looks a little bit like what my grandma used to have in her garden. Let me give you a bit of a close-up here. And this was super fragrant, and it had multiple flowers, and it was just absolutely fantastic. I really loved it. So I do actually remember it wasn't that tall. It was about 70 centimeters. This is the only one that I could find. It's a different brand as well. So I'm just gonna pot it in the smallest pot that I have. Fingers crossed it's gonna do okay. So yeah, as you can see, I'm not the expert quite at all. I don't know all of these varieties. I just know, you know, what I kind of learned through YouTube and other sources. So again, if you have advice and stuff for me, leave me a comment, and hopefully I'll do okay with these guys. Now, I'm sure if some of these don't sprout, I will find them again. They're available all winter long, pretty much, here in my area. Even in the spring, really. The bulb industry is thriving here, even though, you know, I personally cannot grow them, but in the mountains, I'm sure people can. Cyprus is quite a fascinating and beautiful place, but it's fascinating because it's really hot. Here where I am inland, it's the hottest. I'm like in the center of the island, but the mountains are not very far away from me, neither is the sea. So it's a very weird combination of climate details here where I am, but in the mountain area, which I absolutely love. I'm much more of a mountain person than I am a beach or sea person, for sure. The mountain area is much closer to where I grew up. It's still warmer. Wow, what bird is that? All sorts of birdies here where I am now. I love it. I'm not in the middle of the city anymore, which is great. I don't like cities. I really don't. Especially busy ones. Right, so in the mountains, it's still warmer than in Bucharest where I grew up, but it does snow, it does freeze, and things that, like the vegetation there is different than it is here for sure. And I'm sure I could get away with some of these there. In the summertime, it really doesn't get as hot as here, not at all. It goes to 35 max, I would say. And it doesn't stay as long. There's another thing here. Yes, in many places around Earth, you can hit 40 degrees Celsius, but here it stays. It's 40 since 10 in the morning until 7 at night. It's too much. It's too much, you know? So in the mountains, it's really not that bad. And I bet, like, if I could live in the mountains, I would be much happier. No, I'm not gonna say that. I shouldn't say that. But it would be much more similar to what I grew up with, and I would handle it better because I typically don't handle heat better. So in the mountain area, I'm sure I could get away with some of these lilies, but here where I am, I really don't know. I'm gonna try to cheat though. All right, so he's done as well. All right, let's pot another Asiatic lily. This is a beautiful orange one, and let's talk a little bit about the lilies that I could grow, and I will. But as I learned, they're not true lilies. So first of all, daylilies. Yes, daylilies are present here, and I do see them around even in people's gardens. I do see them in garden centers a lot. More in the spring, I would say. And they do really look like lilies, but they're not lilies, and I don't think they smell like lilies. I adore the smell of lilies, by the way. As far as many of you told me as well, and as I know, yes, they will do okay here, and yes, I will plant them directly in the soil, because, you know, I know where I should put them in. I know they will do good, but they're definitely not available this time of the year here. But those are a good option for my crave of lilies. Then there are other types of lilies, oh birdie, that don't necessarily look like lilies, but they're cold lilies for whatever reason. There's the Calla lilies. Those, you wanna say something? You wanna sing? You wanna sing with mommy? Let's not scare the neighbors. We sing in the house when we're alone. Right, so Calla lilies are beautiful. Yes, I will have some, but they absolutely do not look like lilies. But for sure, they can tolerate the heat of the summer here. And even in full sun, they do okay. Depending on the variety, I see the ones that are more resilient are the redder varieties, which are very beautiful, but there are other varieties that I really like. The yellow ones, some have multiple colors. Yeah, they're really beautiful, and definitely I will give them a go. It's just not the season right now for them. They tend to sell them in the proper season here, so that will be most likely in the spring. They also sell bulbs, so I could pot bulbs now and wait for them to sprout in the spring, which I think I will do, actually. I'm waiting for more variety. The season just started. So those are a type of lily that definitely I will have, and definitely can grow in tropical areas and in hotter areas as well. Then there's another one that I will for sure have because I love it. Again, it doesn't, well, this one kind of looks like a lily. It's the Alstroemeria, or the Peruvian lily. That one is gorgeous. It's absolutely fantastically gorgeous, and I will have some of those. I don't know if I should pot it in the soil or in a pot. The advantage of a pot is that I can move it around. The disadvantage is it's much less forgiving to watering than my soil is. I'm gonna tell you a little secret, you guys. I'm starting to really enjoy my soil. Let me put a tag real quick. I might change my mind, but so far, you know what? I kind of like it. It's clayish. Don't get excited. It's not like forest soil. It's clay. However, there seem to be some benefits to clay soil. One of which is it retains water so well. Like so well. Topped off with those little pebbles that you guys saw that don't overheat because they're white. It's marvelous. Like, I don't need to waste too much water on my garden. It actually stays moist. It's incredible. It also stays cool because it's so shaded and so protected and it's moist. It is actually cool in there. And nutrient wise, I really don't know. I'm trying to amend it as I plant with some organic additives. But I will tell you one thing. Remember the rose we potted in a pot? It has more deficiencies than the roses that I potted in the soil. And I potted it with fertilizer and with rose soil. None of the mini roses that I potted, do you remember? I will make an update soon. Everybody's okay, everybody's alive. Oh my goodness. So amazing, in full sun. And they caught a month and a half of summer here. Wow. So everybody who is in the soil already, like, I deadheaded them and they're already producing new buds. They're growing fast. The leaves are green. They look beautiful. The guy in the pot, no, not as pretty. He's doing well too, but not as pretty. And yeah, everything that I have planted in the soil, everything is doing great. You know, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe the soil here is not as bad as I thought it would be, and definitely it stays moist. One of my main concerns was that I would have to like waste my earnings on water. Not the case, not the case. It's very, very retentive. Very retentive is what I'm trying to say. Right, here we have Lilium Casablanca. This is another Oriental lily. It looks like it's gonna be very fragrant, right? I love white lilies. I actually do love white flowers. And I don't mind them quite at all. I absolutely enjoy patterned and dark flowers, like black flowers. Oh my goodness. Very, very Halloween-y, right? Since it's the season, very nice. But there's something about white flowers as well that is just so appealing to me. Right, what other type of quote-unquote lilies work here? Well, there's the Calla lily. It's not the canna, it's the Calla. That one, again, there is a type of Calla lily that does very well here, and it comes back spring after spring. Oh, these guys are ginormous. Right. I will probably have that one as well. Callas, I actually grew up a little bit with. See, in Romania, Callas don't have a good image. How can a flower have an image? Well, I don't know, for whatever reason why people like to make these superstitions and like attribute stuff to other stuff. I hate it. I really wish we didn't. But people attribute, in Romania, people attribute Callas with funerals. And it sucks because I loved Callas ever since I was a child. I remember I was 7. I was going to school and I found a Calla flower on the floor. It was the first time that I was seeing one on the ground, actually. And I picked it up and I put it in water and I had it with me all through school. And I came home. My mom said, it's a beautiful flower, but just so you know, it is sadly associated with funerals. So You know, maybe don't gift your teachers, you know, Callas. Even though it's stupid, yeah, just don't gift them Callas. To me, it was one of the most beautiful plants I've ever seen, but I wasn't really acquainted with it because nobody had it in the garden, because it was a funeral flower. Why in the world do we do this to ourselves? Please tell me. It's the same stupid BS that we say about the small owl. Again, in Romania, when you hear it saying it's a sign that somebody will die, why do you do this to yourself? Why do we? Why? It's bizarre. It's stupid. It's a beautiful little owl, and whenever I hear it, my heart is filled with joy because I love owls immensely, and I would love to see one and maybe pet one and hope it doesn't kill me. But whenever I hear them in the night, you know, it's just so whimsical, so nice. And some people take it seriously. Some people like, oh my God, go in the house. It's warning us. The heck it is. I'm trying to keep it clean with my vocabulary. The heck it is, you know. So that's the little story that I have about the Calla lily. Here, I don't know if here it's the same saying, because people have Calla lilies in their garden. No issue. It's fantastic. So I will be planting Calla lilies. It's the white big flower type, the one that I love the most. The ones in the flower shops with the tinier flower, I don't know. I don't see them in the gardens here way too often, just in pots, maybe because people receive them, but they don't last really. They don't come back. What people have in their gardens are the big white Callas, and I love those. Those are my favorites. So you best believe I'm gonna put some in my garden as well, just as I see them in the flower shops. Right, so this guy is done as well. Let's put a tag. Alright, so now you know how I stand on superstitions as well. I hate them, and my favorite celebration is, of course, Halloween. Now, one of my absolute favorite thing about flowers in general is contrast. You might know from the orchids. I love white and everything, especially a dark color, and especially yellow, but that's quite rare. And here we have a Asiatic lily that has the most wonderful dark freckles on a white background. I think this is absolutely adorable, you guys. I love this so much. And one of the things that I absolutely love about Alstromerias is that they have this, and they have the freckles, they have they do actually look like this. From all of these non-lily type of plants, the Alstromeria is the most lily-like, and the daylily maybe. So I'm looking forward to having Alstromerias. I've been waiting. I think I tried them on the terrace once, and no way. No way. I think even my husband is surprised how well all of my plants are doing in the garden, because he had very little faith in me. Because everything that I tried to plant and grow on the terrace ended up non-existing anymore. And, you know, he would always make fun of me whenever I would say, when my garden is finished, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do the other, I'm gonna plant this and grow this, and he would always be like, yes, you're gonna do that and kill everything. No faith at all. And well, how the turns have tabled. Look who's surprised now. I'm so happy. Well, we'll see next year. I guess the test will be as I get to live with everything through the summer. But the good thing is that I actually moved here in the summer because I had no choice. I moved here in the peak of summer, and I planted things in the peak of summer, and they did get about a month and a half. They're still getting, it's still hot. They did get that amazing summer that we have here, and they survived. You know what? I have faith. Of course, some of these will be trial and error. I have no hopes or wishes for the lilies. I just want to see them for a few months, pretty much. That's it. Listen, if it's gonna be more, like the song says, right? Like Billie Eilish's song says, if it's forever, it's even better. But my hopes are not high with these. So obviously, some will just be trial and error. Some will be annuals. I personally don't enjoy annuals too much because I get sad whenever they don't come back. I'm weird. I have separation anxiety quite badly, and this somehow is a separation for me. If plants are just annuals, no. I even struggle with like petunias and stuff, which are annuals here, and you know, all of these beautiful spring flowers that I grew up with, they came back year after year. Here, no, because it doesn't freeze. And my biggest disappointment is the tulip. So I honestly don't even want to think about tulips anymore. I don't want to put myself through it. So yeah, I'm on the quest of finding things that do survive pretty much at all times here. Even if they go dormant, I'm fine. As long as you come back for me, I shall be happy. Sadly, I don't think lilies are one of them, but I love them too much to let my issues get in the way. So this was white with freckles. 2 more varieties to go, you guys, and we're done. It's a little cloudy today. Very nice. Listen, on one side, I love clouds. I absolutely do. I like a cloudy day, but my solar panels don't work. So I'm always guilty whenever I turn on a light or something, because it's been a little cloudy today. What if I don't cover? What if I don't do my quota? I really don't want to pay electricity anymore, you guys. It's so expensive. But after such a hot summer where my eyes were bleached because there was not one day that had cloud, you know what? I'm okay with some clouds now. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'll just shut down all of the lights in the house, and hopefully whatever the solar panels produce will be enough. I'm kidding. Yeah, Cyprus is a great country for solar panels because there really is no cloud. We only have a few days a year of clouds. So this is an Asiatic lily that is yellow. I love this golden color. I really hope these will look like their pictures. You can see all of them are sprouted, which makes me think that they're coming from the southern hemisphere, maybe Africa. Or, I don't know. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but they should be like this in the spring. Wait, these are a little too high. Yeah, I put too much soil in here. Aren't they supposed to look like this in the spring? I don't know. Some flowers that somehow I kind of grew up with as a cut flower. It was like the cut flower of the moment in Romania as I grew up. One of these flowers I can actually grow, and it does actually come back, and I tested it on the terrace and it does come back, and I'm so happy, and that's the freesia. I love freesias, and every 90s kid right in Romania knows freesias. We know what we're talking about, right? They have the most beautiful, beautiful fragrance, and they are coming from South Africa, I do believe, and whatever comes from South Africa typically does well here as well. African bulbs generally do good here, and freesias are African bulbs. And you plant them, they die off in the summertime, as most everything else, except the toughest plants on the planet. But they die off. However, they come back in the winter, spring, and they actually bloom gloriously in the spring. People have them here, and they're everywhere. The bulbs are here. I have a few bulbs, and I want to put them as a companion plant to some other plants that I have in pots, in bigger pots. So I'm going to take you along for those. Those are one of the best surprises that I've had here, learning that I can actually grow them. Marvelous. Okay, and one more to go, you guys. And of course, we have a pink Asiatic one as well. There might be other varieties, but this is what I found. There might be others that will appear later in the season in flower shops. I don't know. I'm gonna see. I might plant a few more. Why not, if I like? But I think for now, it's enough. I have 9 lilies, and I most likely will not manage to keep them throughout the year. But, you know, as a once-off experience, I'm okay with it. Oh, these guys have pink growths, and this one has 2 shoots. Very cute, very nice. I'm really hoping they're mature enough to bloom. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Because new bulbs take a few years to mature. They look mature. Right, so this has been my story about lilies. And what do you know, I had enough soil for everybody. Right, so I'm gonna arrange them probably in the front yard, because now, even if it's sunny there, these clay pots, will get cooler and cooler as the water evaporates faster. So even if there's sun there, the pots will be super cool and even cooler because the sun promotes evaporation, and the faster the water evaporates, the cooler these guys are. Let's just put a tag and we are done. Right, so I'm gonna show you where they are after I water them. So I'm gonna put them into place and come back when I water them. And here we are, 1 week later, actually, from when I filmed the previous video. And I just watered my lilies. As you can see, they're all sprouted. And they're doing fantastic so far. Which, you know, I had no doubt. It's the summer that's a killer. But yeah, here they are. These are the lilies. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. I guess I will call it a garden and chill, pretty much. It's going to be a new series. And I shall keep you up to date with them. And I guess next video will be on the freesias, if there isn't anything else that I can come up with. By the way, small little update on the roses. I deadheaded them and they're already full of buds. And hibiscus are doing glorious as well. Everybody's actually doing great. A few changes here and there, but I guess that's for a different video. Alrighty, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you'll have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!